Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and welcome back to Hearts Round 4 of the New Order, Last Days of Europe as the Russian National Reclamation Government. Now, in the last video, we officially reunified Russia. At least Western Russia. And we're preparing for the inevitable conflict with Siberia, maybe going to Kazakhstan a little bit too. We haven't fully dedicated to that. But before we begin, as always, we're going to take a look and play our favorite little mini-game of this series. How many minutes do I have in this current session of HoI 4? And that's still a lot, but not much, when compared to my other series. And my, the other parts, because I actually, I'm recording this part, not exactly back-to-back, because I took a break to take a shower, but more or less back-to-back with the others. And, yeah. I'm taking a break. I'm feeling all nice and clean. I use my Dr. Squatch soap, which is not a sponsor of this channel quite yet, but if you Dr. Squatch, if you're watching this and you need a sponsor, hit me up, fam. So I will hook you up. Better industrial expertise. Beautiful. Great thing to come back to. Expanding the system. I'm going to go ahead and get these guys on to Drodzov. And we can give we'll give him a... No, let's not give him Skirmisher. We'll wait a bit to give him anything. Can we give these guys anything? Shmetko, no. Boryanov, no. How about the Azov? Can we promote him at all? Not quite. Kinda sucks, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, let's go ahead and do some... Let's do a societal readout. West Russia will be on the front lines when the Great Trial comes. Places like Vyatka, Samara, and Gorky will be the first to suffer Germany's wrath. From renewed bombings to missile attacks, in the unlikely event Germany ever steps foot on land, it will be where its vile feet will tread. To that end, the national redoubt must be expanded into the region, new bunkers built, and industry moved underground when possible. Cadres will be drilled in evacuation plans so that there is no mad rush to their designated bunkers when the Great Trial begins. The people may complain, but they will adjust and appreciate it in time. We will not allow the Huns to reduce this land to anarchy once more. Our institutions are developing at an okay rate so far. Sign this guy here. Russia Peace 1. Let's go. Got a societal redoubt. We can do a couple of these. We'll do it in Arkhangelsk. Let's do some de-warlordization trials. Outside of the last remnants of the front, the warlords that infested West Russia were among the worst to be inflicted upon the motherland. Traitor czars and generals imposed by the invading Huns. Madmen who sought to turn themselves into the greatest enemy while keeping most of her people enchained. Even those not beholden to the Germans were little better republics too beholden to their ideologies to ever make Russia strong enough for the Great Trial. Justice against these traitors must be swift and without mercy, and all shall know the price of betrayal and failure. Let's start her up. A lambent silver of light silently shot across the Siberian sky. Kostya craned his neck, momentarily forgetting the fatigue of late-night exercises. The celestial visitor burned brightly for a few seconds before fading with a soft finality. His departure as sudden as its appearance. The fuck was that? Vadim asked, not taking his eyes off the forested horizon that encircled their shared foxhole. Shooting star. Kostya replied lazily, reclining back against the foxhole's rough-hewn walls. Fifth one this night. You see anything? No. Thought it was your turn sleeping, though. Can't. I'm thinking. About what? Shooting stars. Vadim shot Kostya an odd glance. You ever feel really, I don't know, small? No. What do you mean exactly? Like, relative to the universe. I was just thinking. Vadim half-jokingly rolled his eyes. You know, that shooting star must have been up there in space for, I don't know, millions of years. All of human history was just sitting up there. Orbiting or whatever. Kostya, where are you going for this? Think about it, Vadim. For God knows how many years, that little space rock was destined to be here. At that time, in this place, and there's nothing humanity could have done to change that. Bukharin could have won the war, and it'd still be there, right there, at this very moment, regardless of what happened on this planet. You and I both could be dead or have never been born. I get the point. So what you're saying is... What I'm saying is that sometimes I feel like everything we're doing here in the League, hell, as human beings, is just so... small. The world just... goes on. Vadim shot him a look. Not a disapproving one, but one that they, and perhaps everyone in the League, knew well. Yeah. I know. It's just... I can't help but feel that way. You should really get some rest, man. Yeah, I should. These guys have a cute little tank division right there. One of those and a couple of cavalry. Seems... Deorganization trials. How many troops do these guys have? Out of curiosity. 37 to 53. These guys have 26 to 30. Ooh, that's going to be a big hit to political power. Shit. Let's go ahead and escalate Potemkin. Despite our best efforts, much of the world still thinks little of the reclamation government, being us as little more than thugs dressed in black. While some are perfectly content with this situation, holding little love for those who failed the motherland before, we still have a need for these foreign powers and their support, particularly the United States. To help in these efforts, the Potemkin program has invited an American film crew to show the world that Comrade Azov simply wants to build a Russia that's strong and prosperous. The Americans will be given a gilded tour of our great nations, showing how prosperous our nation has become and how content our workers are. From there, once we inspect the footage, they will release a documentary that will hopefully convince the Americans that we are not Russia's best hope and a bulwark against the Nazis. We'll see if they fall for that shit. The convening authority of the Black League, Samar District, hereby orders the court-martial of Nikolai Gurevich, former deputy to the economic minister of the Committee for the Liberation of the Peoples of Russia. Is that correct? Yes, replied Gurevich. He felt deathly uncomfortable in the solid wood pew and scratchy prison's uniform he'd been provided with. He looked up at the black-clad officer, who leered down at him from beneath his cap. His hands began to twitch. You're aware of the illegitimacy of this government and the disunity it has caused to the nation of Russia, correct? Yes. Please, I was merely an officiary. I was not involved in the war. I immediately offered. Then we have no further need of you. Your sentence has been rendered. Sergeants, please remove this man. He felt hands below his shoulders. He tried to speak out, to say something in his defense, but there was no words that would make an ounce of difference now. He was half carried and half walked to a concrete courtyard. This was where the shots had been coming from. But I wasn't anyone. Doesn't matter. How are these guys coming along? Pretty well, actually. We'll probably be able to just get working on military intervention right now. 73 days. They'll probably be done by then, I'd imagine. Nine! Please! Your use of disgusting Germanic tongue disgusted me, whelp. You have raised your hideout, slaughtered your fellow pretenders, obliterated your divisions, and you have the audacity to speak in a language which threatens the Russian state. Without a single chance to respond, the member of an Aryan Brotherhood combat unit was swiftly executed with a pistol shot, falling forward into a shallow dirt hole. He was one of many on his knees, blindfolded in a line, facing a makeshift mass grave, dug swiftly after the aftermath of the final battle against the Appearers. Cadre 227719 was assigned to the liquidation of several units of men who had surrendered against the might of a Russian reclamation government. Upon orders from Yazov himself, no mercy was to be shown. Any single man who held a rifle in the treasonous act of Teutonic appeasement was to have their life taken. Cries were heard from some of the men. Others breathed heavily while awaiting their imminent fate. A member of the cadre stepped behind another traitor on the ground, with the blindfolded soldier sniffling rapidly. The roaring of artillery in the distance masked another shot, and with it the brass expelled from falling to the ground. Another thud, another traitor to the motherland, deep in the grave. This is not the last of a scene, and many, like this, were just happening across the former territories of the Aryan Brotherhood. Justice has finally been served in the Russian anarchy, and every pretender in the grave would prepare Russia more and more for her upcoming great trial. Teutonic appeasers will rot 6 feet underground. That's actually kind of base. I can't really argue with that. That's good. That is good. Trying to figure out what we're gonna do. Planning a little ahead of time to the war with the Moscow autonomy, because I'm thinking, you know, why end it with just Russia? That's my thought right now. Why end with Russia? Why pick an arbitrary this bit to end off things with Russia? Why not take the whole thing back? Might be a bit of a spoiler for later, but you know, what are you gonna do? Let's go ahead and get some state development directories expanded. The industry of West Russia has operated under a myriad of organizations for far too long, with some critical industries being run by corporate interests. For the greater prosperity of Russia, the state development director will be expanded to the region. To ensure our economic security, certain measures will have to be enacted. All vital industries will be national. Oh. I apologize. I got a weird feeling in my throat just now. Oh, God. I don't know what that was. Shit, all vital industries will be nationalized, quotas will be put in place, and worker rights will be restricted with all strikes banned, any notion of disobedience to be dealt with by force. The soft-hearted will find these measures extreme, but time will show that these measures are absolutely 100% necessary. Oh shit, yeah, we got a... Oh right, we're going to war with Kazakhstan. And the Kingdom of Russia. Get more manpower would be good. Infiltrate their institutions. Infrastructure is always good. Air bases will be great. Final conflict. Established. Omsk, yeah, these will be good. The Americans have agreed to lend us limited supplies in form of filmmaking equipment and technical assistance, as well as agreeing to let a team of producers, directors, screenwriters, and accompanying staff to travel to Omsk to participate in and advise in filming. We expect to make great and immediate progress towards our goal of completing the movie on schedule. Appropriate industrial and agricultural cadres will be conscripted for filming, specifically for scene A15, A20, and B11, which will require numerous extras and filming on large-scale industrial areas. We've commissioned one specifically outfitted helicopter for the occasion to be used in landscape filming. Glavkarek Azov has been informed of development regarding American assistance and has been authorized for filming begin at once. Lights, camera, action. I'm sorry, oh, that's a horrible picture. I don't know, you know when you want to send a picture to, you're sending a Snapchat to someone, maybe my older viewers might not understand this, you're trying to send a snap to someone, and you want to get, like, the right thing going, you want to get the right picture, because for whatever reason, even though they probably don't care, you do, and you want to get it right. I went for that for a little bit right now. That's nice to hear, at least. There we are. Let's go add new research. Shit. What do we want to do next? I think we should probably hold off on going for total mobilization. Let's reintegrate the armies. The various warlords who dominated West Russia produced a number of ideologies, none of which transplanted into armies worthy of a name. Republicans, monarchs, madmen, and traitors. All of them produced little armed forces that amounted to little more than poorly trained mobs and paramilitaries armed with scavenged and outdated equipment. Even the front produced an army far below what would be needed for the Great Trial. But the men of the air armies can be reshaped and made useful, or forged into true soldiers of the Russian National Army. The women will serve in non-combat roles regardless of what role they once may have had. What little discipline was instilled in them will hopefully prepare them for serving the reclamation government. Yeah, damn. Our research speed has gotten really good since the last time I checked. I mean, with our poverty rate and all the shit we have, like child labor, slavery, education, it's really about as good as it can be. So I'm impressed that we're yeah, that's good enough to send. Build more civilian factories. Oh, the Spartan discipline. Beautiful. Oh. Oh, that is huge. My God. For too long, Russia has not used all of its strength. To overcome its challenges, all must serve, and all must be given to the cause. This includes fighting on the front lines, and women have been overlooked unnecessarily for this solemn duty. This has shortly come to an end. as a series of orders to begin reintegration of women into frontline units has been put out to all cadres. Ranks are now being filled with women as well as men, with equal training and standards for all. The boosted manpower and the skills of these heroines is a welcome addition to our forces, and is absolutely necessary for task ahead. They will serve as well as anyone else, and to help bring forth a united Russia. Today, 1,000 female voices all over the Reclamation government has declared, I believe in Russia, one, indivisible and invincible. I believe in my own strength, in the strength of my comrades. I swear this oath by my sacred motherland. And war support is not good at all right now, but we will be fine, I think, ultimately. Let's get some contacts in Moscovian. Moscovian, the site of Germany's greatest crimes against our kind, will be on the front lines when the Great Trial comes. It is there where it will be won or lost. It is there where Germany's destruction will begin. Though the Great Trial is years away, we must begin seeding Moscovian for Germany's downfall. Sleeper agents will be snuck over the border, infiltrating with slaves and collaborators, learning what they can about Germany's operations in the area while laying the groundwork for future sabotage efforts. These agents risk a great deal, but their efforts will prove more than worth it when the Great Trial begins. Let's do it. On your first visit here, Mr. Ambassador, I felt I was welcoming a capable and honest ambassador, but now I feel I'm saying goodbye to a friend. No one could have been more conscious and respectful to both our countries, said the actor, posing as Dmitry Azov. The ambassador smiled. The work being done to improve your living conditions everywhere in Siberia, your industrial innovations, your use of natural resources, I'm greatly impressed by what I have seen here. I believe history will record you as a great builder for the benefit of mankind, he replied. With a final handshake and the ambassador turning back for a salute, as he walked out the door, the famous movie Mission to Omsk, portraying the purported reality of life in newly unified West Siberia, faded to black. Reviews have been highly polarized, with some saying it is merely a propagandist hack job, while others credit innovative screenplay design and the use of helicopters to capture scenes of expansive Russia as never seen before. Overall, it appears Omsk has convinced at least part of the world that the gold in its flag outshines the black, and is that it is a nation worth recognizing as a potential ally. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. We might as well approach some emigrant scientists. Excuse me. I got some more factories. What do we need? More support equipment, maybe. And then anti-tank would be a good way to round it off. Let's do the first draft. Sakharovsky has pressed a plan to Glavkarek, one he has dubbed Operation Chernobog. He argues that the land known as Moscovian is lost to us, too polluted by Germanic settlers to ever be fully reclaimed. As such, it will serve as a staging ground for the opening phase of a great trial. Before the first of our troops cross the border, Chernobog calls for Germany to be devastated by a series of devastating terrorist attacks centered on Moscovian. The Huns will be military crippled and divided before the trial has even begun, leaving the path to Germania wide open for us. Here we go. Identity card doc 515-211-067. Yuri Staranov. Date of birth 5/18/1942. ID doesn't matter too much. Height 172 centimeters. Eyes gray. Sex M. Yuri couldn't stop staring at his new identity card. A thin slip of card paper would decide whether he lived or died. Getting through Moscovian's infamously porous border would not be difficult, but staying there undetected and carrying out his assignments certainly would be. He'd been charged, as part of a new infiltration program, to signal back any information he could find about Moscovian's vulnerabilities. Drozdov himself had sent them off with encouraging words about how they would be the first echelon, the tip of a spear that would retake their nation's land. Troop dispositions, popular unrest, partisan groups, infrastructural weakness, anything that would help in the assault whenever it came. It was time to start off again. He would cross the border in the fading light, and will likely have gone through several checkpoints just the next day. But he was ready. He grabbed the handlebars, flicked up the kickstand, and started dragging the motorcycle towards a forested stream that would be his crossing point. Work in the shadow to serve the light. We're addressing the redoubt in... We finished up in Astrakhan. Not Astrakhan, Arkhangelsk. I'm thinking the other A in the AA line. How about Stravnopol na Volga? That'll be good. Let's prepare for war production. And we'll probably just let these guys attack into us. Oh! Shit, I didn't realize it would be that quick, but yeah. I forgot to give these guys an offensive line. And it seems that they went ahead and declared on Kazakhstan. Or us. For going to war with Kazakhstan. So this has happened a lot quicker than I realized. I did not move these planes over yet. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Sekarovsky walked up the projector. The collected hierarchy of the Black League sat in anticipation of a new draft. Glavkarik, comrades. The following was a general outline of our staff as prepared for Operation Chernobyl. While conventional military action will be needed to dismantle the German state, it will also be necessary to use unconventional means to assist this main objective. With that in mind, specialized units will be deployed in the hearts of Germany, well before military operations commence in order to sabotage infrastructure, cause civilian casualties, and destroy the trust of the government in its military. Probing attacks must first be conducted in vulnerable areas of insignificant targets, namely isolated civilians and low-ranking officials. Utilizing information gained here on German reactions, we can target our larger-scale operations towards infrastructure and transport systems. Critical to these attacks will be the usage of German chemical weapons. This will result in suspension being directed towards the Wehrmacht. We can then escalate attacks towards the population, resulting in the desired split between civilians and military leadership. Research into replicating these agents is, therefore, of high priority. With the civilian government fearing a coup from within, the military attempting to maintain order, we expect that we are able to trigger a partial shutdown of the strategic command structure within the time span of 1 to 2 months after major operations begin. This will severely hamper any conventional or nuclear response to our initial attacks. You may find an extended timeline on pages 25 through 28, and a requested budget on pages 33 through 39. Are there any questions? Nope, but we got a new land doctrine, which is very nice. Let's do the fires of hell. When the Great Trial finally comes, it is probable even, that the German dogs will rain nuclear fire on us. Our cities will burn in fire, reduced to radioactive cinders. The terror bombings by Luftwaffe will be but a pinprick compared to what atomic warfare will do to Russia. The national redoubt will not be enough for this. For Russia to survive, new bunkers must be built, bigger and deeper. Many will be built outside of the cities where they're not subject to direct strike. With shielded doors protecting against the radiation, with air filtration systems and enough supplies to ensure the people can remain inside long enough for the fallout to dissipate. These new bunkers will ensure that nothing, not even the power of the atom, can stop us in our quest for vengeance. Russia will survive, no matter what comes. We just have to beat these nerds here in Kazakhstan and then move them over to these weird LARPers in Siberia now. Looks like they mostly went with yeah, they went with what's his name? Rourke III. I forget his original name, but Azov looked at the line blueprints on the table. 6 full floors with an elevator to surface, a kink in this entrance to attenuate the radiation, all concrete and rebar. Sealed doorways, CBRN-resistant ventilation systems, a room for nearly 300 people in this underground home. He traced his fingers down the elevator and along the hallway to the residential areas. He had been in enough bunkers to know what it would look like. He knew how the walls would feel rough and unwelcoming, how the air would start to feel stale, how the silence would start to drive you mad after a few weeks. The engineer's voice snapped him out of his daydream. Current estimations are that it could survive a 5-megaton warhead detonating at 0.22 kilometer height at any distance farther than half a kilometer. Survivors were able to continue operations without further supply for up to half a year, at which point potable water would be expended. Our estimated cost for each is 100,000 rubles, depending on the terrain and features. Naturally, they can be outfitted with additional modules for command units, armories, and etc. to be designated at time of construction. Also, technical, so deterministic, an engineer's solution to an apocalyptic problem. He straightened his back and looked at the man dead in the eye. Begin construction immediately. Next, I think we'll go ahead and venerate the front. We'll wait to do this one. Voroshilov, Zhukov, Tukhachevsky, the generals of the front are admirable as they are soldiers. As are their soldiers, They fought against the Germans for decades, after most had given in or turned traitor. Tukhachevsky in particular showed a strength few outside the Black League have displayed. They were almost strong enough to lead Russia in the Great Trial. Almost. Their adherence to Bukharin's old order and communist ideology weakened them and ultimately proved to be their downfall. Despite their misguided beliefs, the front should be venerated, its soldiers and generals given amnesty. They may not be fit to lead our country, but they are still capable generals. We could use men like these for the Great Trial, once they've been properly retrained. These guys really aren't doing that much. Okay, let's do. Yeah, you do that. You move to there. Just get moving, men, really. That's all we need from you right now. Oh, improved academic base. There's finally primary schools. Oh, how nice that must be. Reinforcements. We'll cancel these lines. I don't think we need them too dramatically at this point. The most important thing right now is to get Kazakhstan out of this war. I think we have some warnings from within coming, though. There are rumors, vile, detestable, treasonous rumors about Dmitry Karbashev's death. These rumors claim that the founder of the All-Russian Black League, the man who was first to recognize the strength that we would need for the Great Trial, did not pass away from old age, but rather killed himself. These rumors must be false. Our leader would have never had reason to do such a horrible thing. We must track down the sources of these foul rumors and deal with them. Yeah, rumors. 100 men stood assembled in the courtyard as a black-clad officer stood on a podium before them. The old and young alike had shivered through northern winters and endured the terror of battle. This is what remained of the former Russian Revolutionary Front Infantry Company, given general amnesty after the conclusion of hostilities. They were sorely needed, now more than ever. Soldiers of Russia. You fought proudly in the defense of your homeland and your families. Though we may have been at odds before, we welcome you now, as comrades in the same struggle against those who would seek to destroy your nation. Fight with us, with the same dedication and fury you have already shown, and we shall secure a place in this world for the Russian people, and bring vengeance upon those who have desecrated holy Russia. You must now recite the oath of the Black League. I believe, before all else, in Russia, one, indivisible, and invincible. Beautiful. How much do we have to take it for Kazakhstan? Surely not that much more. I mean, once we take that cow, yeah, we're good. Core this up. Evidently, well, we don't control that fully. That explains it. Let's readjust all these lines. We just need one big front line here. Four troops selected. Do an offensive line. Back here. And get working, boys. Oh. Ustinov and Yepeshev were seated in full front uniform opposite a single empty chair. They did not look like defeated men, quite the opposite. As Yov walked in and took his seat, they rose and saluted him as equals. Comrades, you surely know that I reserve the greatest respect for yourselves and your former cause. I think we share many of the same beliefs and virtues. I have, therefore, come personally to see if you would join us in our defense against our hated enemy and the defense of Russia. The two generals simply stared at each other for a few seconds, nearly expressionless. Over the long, awkward pause, Yazov grew anxious. Was he going to have to jail them? Shoot them? These men who had fought for the nation so admirably. The two men exchanged a few mumbled comments. Ustinov snorted. Yepeshev looked concerned. For what felt like minutes, with Yazov growing more and more impatient, they finally stood. First Ustinov, then Yepeshev, then Yazov. Comrade, we would be proud to serve under your leadership. Let us help the Black League to restore the full glory of Russia. The two men snapped to salute. Yazov returned the salute. As they turned and marched out of the room, he leaned on the table ever so slightly. It was good to have two honorable and trustworthy men who would add unity to the cause, and he was glad he didn't have to shoot them. Oh, Shah of Iran's dead. That's a billion Iran, who would thunk? It was intended to be an ordinary inspection, but Glavkrik himself, along with his aides, observing the mines. He had done all his usual stunts, shook hands with all the coal-dusted, hard-ad workers he could, praised them for their dedication to victory above all else. And yet, before the night was over, Yazov's mind would fracture. There had always been rumors about Karbashev's death. They were always intentionally kept from Yazov. Who knows how he might react when he heard the truth? Is it better for him to not find out than the one man he could count on did what he did? But then, one swaying miner turned all their plans to dust. I'm sorry for the loss of Comrade Karbashev, Glavkrik Yazov. Such a terrible way to go. My uncle was a guard and saw him as he walked out to die. Every eye of every aide behind Yazov opened to the size of dinner plates. A few shook their heads vigorously at the assembled miners. Others just walked in shine. Not sure what you mean, comrade. Yazov's voice was slow, dispassionate, analytical, quieter than usual, just a normal question. But his clenched jaw and burning stare told volumes. Even the drunken miner must have picked up on something, but he continued. Well, comrade, as I'm sure you know, he'd simply had enough, you know? Thought it was time, thought he should go. Shockingly, the miners around him began to nod in assent. Yazov's breathing accelerated. The aides behind him now drew their fingers across their throats at the miners, or put a finger to their lips. It was far too late. Good God. He knows. It was truly amazing that Yazov managed to keep an even tone, but his aides could not see the twisted look of anger and deep sadness on his face when he said, I have questions. Come with us, and fetch the Tatar wherever he is. Ooh. It's time to work on the fourth thesis. I think it's time to waste not and want not, though, first. For the great trial, every gun, every bullet, every tire matter. As such, in the reclamation government, there can be no such thing as scrap or excess. Excess pots and pans can be melted into bullets. Rubber can be made into tires. Any frivolities left behind the West, such as silk stockings, can be made to parachutes. The people must understand this. All cadres will be ordered to donate any excess materials they find. There will be no scrap yards, no excess waste. Everything that can be used will be used. A better cadre misses a few pans if it means they'll have a few more bullets when the great trial comes. Let's see how we're doing. More or less making gains. Oh, unrest in Iran. Who'da thunk? Fronts are a little disunified. Waste not and whatnot. Let's go onwards to Berlin. For us to win the Great Trial, the people of Russia must believe we can. If all the workers believe that the shells they are making are for a hopeless cause, they won't put much effort in, leading to poor quality weapons. Low morale could be just as dangerous to us as the Huns. Counter, we're creating a propaganda campaign, banners, speeches, and even a few movies, all of which show the Russian National Army slaughtering the armies of the Reich, flying our banner atop the ruins of Germania, with the injustices being dealt to us repaid 100-fold. This campaign will show the people that when the Great Trial begins, we will win and justice will be done. Beautiful. Alexei nodded to the privateers opposite him, marveling inwardly at how cold this business was. There was no shortage of enemies he'd face, no shortage of bitter reprisals and post hoc justifications, and yet here he was, facing the men the internal security naval branch despised most of all, the men and occasional women of the sea. Nikolaevich, their head, had been running the ports for as long as the Black League's long hauls held memory of him, and his motley little crew were whispered to have fingers in every pie this side of the Arctic Sea, including, it was whispered, the Germans' own fleet. Gentlemen, sit down. There had been a time when Alexei, fresh from boot camp, would have gladly paid his own life to strangle this enemy of a state, but he'd grown in his long watch to understand the higher truths. There was an order to killing, a reason, and now he had a reason to keep this man alive. Commissar Alexei, Nikolaevich raised a grave, flecked eyebrow. What was the purpose of his visit? Targets and people, Alexei reminded himself. Nikolaevich, I've been ordered to bring you in, but Black League seeks not to arrest you. Your talents are required. We seek reconnaissance, submarines, and marine both. Your clippers are seaworthy and armed. You will bring them into the fold, and we will build your ships for you. You need only say yes. And before you negotiate, you might want to take a look at the last picture. Nikolaevich flipped to the end of a dossier. His eyes turned cold. His face went white. A wordless murmur escaped his lips, and Alexei rose from his seat. We offer much, but never forget what we can take, Nikolaevich. Report to the Naval Yard at 900 hours tomorrow. Aim for the right targets, and the people will follow. Oh, hey, we have a navy now. Taking a few hits on the chin at first, but we're starting to do okay at, it seems. Making some pushes into Orotia. The following was distributed to all frontline cadres following the announcement of Glavkrik Yazov, soldiers of the Reclamation Government. To you falls the great task and the great honor of taking back the lands that Germany has stolen from us. Your trials will be many and your hardships unbearable. Still, for the sake of your children, and your children's children, and all Russian people, you must persist in bringing justice to Germany and the safety to our lands. We must reunify all of Russia under our banner, for Russia cannot be disunified or weak to accomplish our glorious aims. We have seen previously what disunity and backstabbing can do, even to determined people. This must not occur again. This will not occur again. The Black League will make it so. Only then can we accomplish our true task, bringing justice to oppressors in Germany and their puppet states that now hold Moscow. We shall scatter them before our might, and show them the same mercy that they have shown to all of Russia. They will be erased from the world, and good riddance to them. We shall accomplish this task for the sake of all free peoples. In doing so, we assure Russia the safety and the safety of the world. The justice of our cause is clear. The implements of the destruction of Germany are in your hands. Let us go forward in our righteous anger. On to Moscow. On to Moscow. Should probably get night vision. Six to 22. What are their divisions like? I'm actually kind of curious. I'm gonna T debug cam. They have no manpower now. Druzinas. They seem pretty weak overall. They have like 50 fucking templates for whatever reason. So the AI is just fucking horrible. You have your Streltsy. Yeah, they're weak divisions and they're losing manpower, so I'm not too worried now. Okay, tag. Anyway, it's probably time to cut it here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content feature, hit the sub button for more uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concerns, any sort, leave in the comment section below. I read the comments I get. Appreciate any feedback you might have for me. If you want to send me bucks my way, I have a Patreon. If you want to chat or play games, I have a Discord. If you want to see me do this sort of live, I have a Twitch. I'll put you down in the description box below. That's really about it, ladies and gentlemen. My name has been DB333, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.